On Local Lens, we dive into the stories of Calgary's local entrepreneurs, bringing our community closer together. Your lens into Calgary's thriving businesses.
Natasha Phipps, welcome to the Local Lens. Thanks so much for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me. Excited to be here.
I'm super excited. You are, of course, the founder and CEO of WealthShare, and I'm super excited to hear about that. So tell me about WealthShare.
Yeah, I'm excited to share. So we're based here in Calgary. We are a private real estate investment trust. And all that means is it's a vehicle to pool investor capital towards a common goal. So we invest in multifamily real estate here in Alberta. Might be looking to go into Saskatchewan, we'll see, but definitely the prairie provinces. And we allow a way to invest in real estate with as little as $5,000, first of all. But also being able to use your registered funds is a big deal. So a lot of people have their TFSAs and their RRSPs and maybe aren't super happy with the returns they're getting and want to kind of diversify. So that's what we do. And we have a targeted 12% annualized return on our investment. And 2024, we did hit that. We hit 12.6%. And the previous year was 11.1, and we didn't quite have a full year. But so yeah, just in a nutshell, that's who we are and what we do.
Okay, I love that. So how long has WealthShare been around?
So we started in 2022. It started with the first property, but we didn't know, I didn't know this is where we were going. It's one of those things where, things snowball and doors open and then, you're on to the next thing. But really what drove this as a company was the first building we acquired. We raised the money quite easily for that one. But about half the investors asked if they could use their RSPs instead of cash. And so that started me down okay, what does that mean? And how does that work here? And ended up here where to be able to do that and to be compliant here in Canada, you do have to have this type of vehicle to be able to do that. And so it kind of was like, okay, are we doing this? And kind of, WealthShare was born, I guess, and here we are. So that was, about 3 years ago. It took us about a year to kind of get everything off the ground, but it was a big endeavor, that's for sure.
No. I love the concept. So basically, people that might not have, the funds to invest because they just have it lying around, but have lots of RSPs that are being invested anyways, could just come talk to you and potentially get a better return.
Yes.
Why not?
We have a few buckets of investors, I would say. One is like brand new to investing. This is, they're just kind of getting their feet wet. And our other value proposition, particularly for these individuals, is on the education side. So we do a lot of education and sharing and webinars. We bring in guest speakers because we're not taught this in school. We're not taught how to think about our finances and retirement and financial planning. And so it's important that we're making that information as accessible as possible to our almost 300 investors now. And so that's a big part of our value proposition. So we have those investors, and then we have the investors who would certainly have the money to go and do this on their own potentially, but do not want to. They don't want another job. They're not looking for, to be the one, securing the debt or managing the tenants or any of that type of stuff. So there's two kind of main buckets, and it's about 50-50 with who our investors are. The kind of maybe higher net worth people, they're more concerned nowadays too about their protection of capital and their money not losing its value. And so kind of having a store of value in hard assets, real estate being one of them, is an important part of their sort of decision making of where to place their funds that will hold their value the best, especially through these kind of crazy times we've been going through the last few years.
Right. So there's a lot of uncertainty.
Yeah.
Real estate's not a bad option because I know that it's not going anywhere. It's going to keep its value. If it does fluctuate, it'll come back.
Yes.
That type of thing. Right.
Yeah, exactly. So there's a range of investors for sure, but and we need and love them all. And certainly not everyone is using RSPs. It's about We're over half using registered funds of our almost 300 investors, I would say, and the other portion are cash. And a lot of people invest with their corporate entities as well. So it is a pretty vast range for sure.
Okay. And what do you see kind of for the future real estate happening here in 2025?
That's such a big question for, I mean, okay, so real estate is so geographically different, right? So what's going on here in Alberta might be very different than other provinces. And I think focusing here on Calgary and here in Alberta, where we are, I think we have probably are set up kind of the best compared to the rest of the country. Most of the rest of the country is seeing huge volatility right now, massive uncertainty, a lot of oversupply on the sales side, on the rental side, and that's a huge concern. So the amount of people driving themselves to Alberta in the last several years has certainly helped us, like no doubt about it. The population growth Alberta has seen has, really, of course, sparked our economy, our real estate needs, of course. And so, but there's always the but. It is important that we're still being strategic. Not everything in Calgary makes sense, for example. Not everything is a good investment. But I think we are kind of in a balanced condition. We are no longer like last year, 2024, we were very much in a seller's market, and it was very tight everywhere in terms of rental conditions and sales conditions. I don't think we will see that for 2025. It's going to be a lot more balanced and kind of fair across the board. Because what we can do well here in Calgary is build. We build fast, and we build, when the demand is there. So we catch up very quickly compared to other markets that take a long time to push developments through. So that's a good thing, but you also have to be cautious of it and make sure that you're aware of what's coming down the road, who might be your competitors next.
I love that. I like to think there's two seasons in Calgary. There's winter and then there's construction.
Yeah.
So,
road work. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Well, Natasha, thank you so much for providing your insights. And hopefully if somebody's watching, there's maybe sparks their interest and they come out and give you a call. So thanks so much for your time.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Thanks for tuning into The Local Lens. Keep supporting local and stay inspired. And see you next time for more stories from Calgary business communities. Your lens into Calgary's thriving business scene.